there. And we're live right now. I'm going to start recording. Oh. All right. It's GloucesterCast 371. We got the full studio today, and we have... Honest to fucking Christ. Honest to fucking Christ. Honest to fucking Christ.
45 minutes.
Is it blue, Chris?
I must have said it. How many times did I say it? And I'm the one who got called a bitch for being a...
You forgot to press record as well?
I didn't show, let the record show I forgot to hit record. So
So is it going right now?
Take two.
All right, good. All right.
now,
GloucesterCast 371 with our band of merry Marys. Band of merry misfits.
the land of the misfits.
Island of Misfit Toys.
We're going to go around and we're going to do introductions.
All right, come on, we're wasting air time.
We're wasting bandwidth.
Good morning, Gloucester. Merry Christmas. And Joe, go yourself.
He's had that planned all week long.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Nope, just since last night, and we'll discuss that later.
had- Very nice, very nice.
Good morning, Gloucester.
Good morning, Gloucester. Happy birthday, Joe. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That was Chris McCarthy.
Good morning, Gloucester. This is Jim over here on the live stream typing in. My wife is not here. I know she's listening. Boy, Pat, do I miss you on this one. Oh, Merry Christmas to everybody else, too.
Very nice.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Pat. We miss you this morning.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
We could use some sanity in the room.
She's hooking up a
right
stove.
about now.
Who's Pat?
So Jimmy has an issue whenever he goes and does something fun. Pat purposely goes and spends a ton of money.
Really?
That's her move. So he left this time to come just to do the podcast, and she left, and
And the credit card's been calling. Company's been
she's
calling.
doing the kitchen over, new stove, like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
And the best part about it is she's in Aruba.
Uh-oh.
Is it really Chris's birthday week?
Actually, it's for all the houses we own down in New York.
All the houses.
All the houses.
Well, that's what she tells me.
Oh, there you go.
I don't like being this close to a microphone.
It could be the beard.
So we have the obviously we have the all new setup now,
All
and
nude?
all nude setup.
Wow.
God help
All
us
right,
all.
Ralph, you first.
Chris, we need some good music for that.
Bow chicka bow bow.
Bow, bow.
We have a couple of announcements to make. Mom's Kitchen closed now. They'll be moving across the street. January 3rd, I think, is the date. They're looking forward to that.
So are we.
I want to thank Kim for bringing in the bunt cake and coffee cake, and you gave me a nice Christmas present.
Chocolate biscotti. You didn't have any chocolate biscotti.
No, not yet. And you brought the candied walnuts, which is a tradition.
Yes.
Very nice. Nicole brought the Brothers Brew donuts from Brothers Brew, and Ralph brought the coffees.
The coffee's delicious.
And
Why,
brought
thank
the
you.
hats.
Where's the coffee?
And Chris brought the
That's
festive
Cape Ann coffee.
festive attire. Yeah.
Chris is in charge of.
Hat-ons. No, the hats that we have on.
Yes.
Yes.
How do you think of all those things? Do you just lie in bed all week?
It's a God-given gift.
Well, we did have about an hour and a half before we went live.
Yeah.
Eileen Kelly has joined us and said, you guys all put the ho, ho, ho in Christmas.
Oh,
That's right.
Who are you calling a hoe?
I almost wore that shirt today that said, "Where my hose at?"
A lot of hoes in
Right
this room.
here.
A lot of hoes in this room.
Hold it.
Hey.
You're doing a good job
Chris,
today with the soundboard. I
Well,
like it.
It's because
Very
he was
good.
in bed at 9 o'clock.
Speaking of being asleep.
being in bed at 9
Yeah.
o'clock.
You want to talk about being
Should we
asleep?
go there now?
Do you really want to go there, Joe?
Well,
While you were within arm's reach?
you were very irate because
Extremely irate. I
be-
can't believe you posted that picture of me.
You
He-
got a lot of sleep. I don't know why you're so cranky.
That no, actually, like
Nice, Nicole.
I wrote a rebuttal saying that was, at halftime, and I
well,
did
we
get
have to
up.
get back up. You have
I
to
went
tell
out
people
to
what
dinner,
happened.
and I stayed up late last night. But I'm sure you were in bed at 9 o'clock, Joe.
I was.
Okay.
So Ralph, we put a picture of Ralph sleeping on the fuff while the Patriots game was being played.
Number one fan.
Number one fan was the
I
caption.
never claimed to be the number one fan. Never did.
Okay.
Never did.
Now you're the number 2. Number 2. Who does number 2 work for?
Number one.
Number one. Number one.
We were very upset this morning when he found out.
And,
Well-
and I don't want to say anything, but I believe that Kate took that picture. Okay.
Was that the angle
Because
that it was taken
I
from?
actually wasn't sleeping when I saw her take the picture, and I said,
Something bad.
"Don't
is
do
happening.
anything with that picture." She said, "I'm going to send it to your wife," and she sent it to my wife.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
She sold you right down the river.
yep. Kate
believe you would
sent
do
me
that,
up
Kate.
down the river. Kate, I'm very
Kate
upset with
texting you
Kate.
right
I'm
now,
taking
yes.
back. I'm taking back all your Christmas presents that I bought you.
Well, she already
The
got the
Louis, the Macaj,
the Kennedy got goose.
all that stuff.
No,
No, it's called Canadian goose, isn't it? Or is it Canada goose? What is it? It's Canada? Canada
no,
goose.
it's not Canada goose.
What is
It's Canada goose.
Oh, Canada goose.
Oh, Canada.
I
Canada
have one.
goose.
Anyway,
Kim does. Is Kim be wearing it?
I'm over it now.
Canada goose.
Kim has a Canada goose.
It's Canada goose, right? Yeah.
Piping plover fur around the
No, it's literally coyote fur.
Yeah.
That's why there's a lot of they've been getting a lot of pushback from the outraged culture people because they actually have
I
coyote
could probably
fur.
make 5,000 coats in my backyard.
yeah, no
It's like
shit.
it's
With all the
you
coyote.
never say Canadian geese. You'll always say Canada geese. With the real.
I don't know. See how she
goes right to the bird.
she swung that.
Yeah.
That was the Kim
that's
Smith
a move.
swing right there. She took us completely our attention off the fact that she has a Canada Goose jacket.
Oh,
See?
I got yelled at by a bird person once for calling it a Canadian goose. So it's
oh,
really.
oh! So they didn't have a problem with the coyote fur on the collar.
I mean the actual birds.
Oh,
The birds themselves.
oh, okay.
Are really Canada geese, not Canadian geese. You don't say 'cause Canadian geese could be any geese that live.
Kim.
Well,
Touchdown.
Kim, let me ask this question.
I didn't
What
realize
if,
how
what if
clumsy
the
Kim
geese
was. I
have
really had
dual
no idea.
citizenship?
Nothing happened when you were out of the office.
I am.
She didn't answer my question.
She's avoiding it.
Yeah, she's hit the microphone 18 times. Her mic's probably not even working. She's knocked it over so many times.
Kim, I don't know if you saw the survey results, but the listeners really like the animal sex segment of this show. Can you
my
share
God.
with the listeners how Canadian geese have
Canada goose. Canada goose.
Well, where do you think they get the okay?
Imagine it's like every how
the
most
colloquia?
birds.
The cloaca?
Spelled CLO.
I've always wanted to go there.
They do. They rub the
And you know
fuzzies.
what? We have the word of the week
Cloaca.
next week.
Cloaca.
Week.
Cloaca.
Yeah.
Cloaca.
All right.
Okay.
There
I
you
thought
go.
that was a country.
So if you want to win Joe's hat,
Between Croatia and
I think you're right. I think that was.
Yeah.
Steve Reed and Clo.
I think Steve and Kim Reed are in Cloaca.
Jimmy, are there any comments coming in, Jimmy?
Oh, well, so far I asked how's the new mic's working, and everyone's saying it sounds great. It's still a little less with Kim, but she's knocked it 5 times.
Well, it's because it's broken.
She broke it. I think she broke it.
Drop it 6
I think
times.
it's fine right now.
Can you hear it?
Oh yeah, I think you're doing.
All right, so what do we have for topics today, Joe?
We have it's just a couple things to get out of the way. Mom's Kitchen, we got that. Rocky Neck New Year's Day Plunge is at 11 o'clock New Year's Day. Hope to see you there. The winners of the Gloucester Holiday Window Decorating Contest are in. This news from Ken Hecht. And of 86 participants, storefronts, participated in
Do
this
we need a drum roll?
decorating contest. Yeah, if we have one.
Ready?
Yep.
I'm
Drum roll.
cue-
Here
I'm
are the
cue,
winners.
Chris.
Here are the winners. Nice. Black Bear Barbershop, Art Haven, Barrett Real Estate, the Franklin and Fireflies. Those are they had different categories.
Excellent.
So kudos to them, and kudos to Ken, it was really his idea to get this thing going.
Joey's gonna do that window next year, right
Yeah,
there.
you should. Joe.
I like that idea. I like that.
It is decorated. Can't you see all the handprints?
The lobster guts.
Nose prints,
So-
handprints.
so-
Lobster guts.
It's present season. Who's done? Ralph, are you done?
Am I what?
Done presents
Done with presents?
Done
Of course, I
shopping.
was done with presents months ago.
months ago. Okay. How about you?
Well, not
Nicole?
months, weeks.
You're done?
I'm done. I had to get 2 quick things yesterday, and that was a nightmare. So yeah, but I was done before that. Good stuff.
This-
Uh-oh.
I think
Uh-oh,
I'm
Chris is
allergic to
gonna
this,
sneeze.
Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. I got fur in my nose. Our family doesn't give gifts to one another. We give the gift of joy and love. So we were done.
So you can never be done.
It's on a repeating cycle.
It's
Giving
a
joy.
repeating cycle.
How about you, Jimmy?
I plan on starting tomorrow.
Was there a cheap bastard sound effect for
Yeah,
Chris
actually
when
I
he
did.
talked? Do you have that sound effect?
No,
I
I
don't.
don't.
Wait, Chris.
Who are you calling a bastard?
Not you.
No,
Sorry.
Chris, we were going back to Chris.
because
It's more like a,
Chris didn't.
I'm over here on my board and I'm.
So I have a little problem with Christmas is that no matter how early I start, I just keep buying right up until the last minute. So
I can see that
it's
happening.
better actually if I start later because then I buy less.
Well, there's a family. There's a family. I think in the Midwest, they had a thing where they're young kids, like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, that figured out how to order
Oh,
through Amazon.
yeah.
So 2 days later, the parents, unbeknownst to the parents,
Yeah.
$800 worth of toys showed up on their doorstep
Yeah.
because these kids figured out how to order. Because they make it super. Alexa, order XYZ.
Chris did the same thing on Amazon.
So funny.
What?
Like saying,
Oh, you figured out how to order all these toys.
So
What kind of toys, Chris?
Alexa, order me some amazing.
Yeah, see?
Can
He
you
knew where I
ima-
was going with that.
can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Oh, those parents! Oh my gosh.
I don't know why you're so surprised.
Yeah. Amazon's response was, just return it. We take returns, 30-day returns.
Yeah, it's
Tell
a
that to the kids.
pain in the butt though. Yeah.
After they use the
Sorry,
toys.
kids. All your toys are going back.
So Nicole had a good point, like as far as kids and Santa Claus, like right when you get married, you really should have a conversation before you have children that are of age, that understand what's going on, because you got to keep your stories straight.
Keep your story straight.
Yeah, we had a lot of
First
trouble with that in the beginning.
You
Like we
did.
didn't. I think you kind of do what you grew up with for Christmas, and Freddie and I never had a conversation. And I remember Thatcher asking questions like, "Well, we don't have a chimney, so how does Santa come to our house?" And I was like, "Oh," and I spun some lie off the top of my head, and then immediately he was like, "Well, Daddy said," and I was like, "Oh shit." But we don't know, you don't plan ahead for that, and we ended up telling so many lies on top
How
of
old
each
is-
other that
How old
we
is
didn't
Thatcher?
know. Well, this was a while ago. He's
Oh.
12 now.
Oh, okay.
22.
So what do you tell
22.
what do you tell him now?
Well, it's funny. That was another thing. So Thatcher is obviously he's 7th grade. He doesn't believe in Santa anymore. And
Chris
I
still
hope
does,
that-
so
I
be
hope his
careful.
Kids aren't listening, but
You just blew it,
oh my
You
God.
just blew it for the entire
Do
world.
I have to stop now?
There is a Santa. There is a Santa.
Don't
Just
listen to Nicole.
Same thing.
So Finn is 100% in. Like wakes up every day to find the elf. He's 10. He's 10 and a half. I thought we were gonna be done this year, but he is
I
in
think
it to win it
do you think
completely.
it's the youngest? Like that's what happened with our youngest too.
I hope he's not watching the show.
I know, right? And right.
you know what?
He's
Um,
throwing his
so
iPhone
he's
across the
into
room.
it. But I know parents who, when their children stopped believing, there were questions. Like there were, some kids get like, "Why were you lying to me? I don't understand." Or other kids are like, "Oh, that's so great. That you bought all those gifts. So nice of you." I didn't have any conversation in my house. It was just we're done believing, and that was the end of it. And he never asked any questions, and he moved on. But Ben's still 100%.
Nobody ever
so-
said anything about Santa or Christmas. They just pointed out the window into the marsh and said, "That's where your real family lives."
The saddest day in my life was realizing that there was no Santa and discovering the spot that my parents hid the toys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
Did you ever
Do you remember
did
that?
you ever
I remember
unwrap the
that.
did you ever meticulously unwrap the wrapped presents when you found out where they kept them hid so you could see what you were
Then you
getting
line up the
and
tape
then
mark
line,
on the
yeah.
wrapping paper
Yeah.
where
Did
it
you ever
was
do
dropped
that? I did
off.
that.
No,
we found
I
them
never did.
unwrapped. There was a closet downstairs in the basement, and I found the mothership. And of course, being the oldest of three, what do? I grab my two sisters, and I ruined it for them. So, Susan, Jen, if you're listening, I apologize for ruining
Well, you were in
Christmas
shock.
for you.
You were in shock.
I was in shock.
Ruined
Here's my
Christmas.
Santa Claus. My parents are lying to me again. Very
Unbelievable.
sad day.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. Do you want to
So
hug?
give me
Chris, do you want to
Well,
hug?
I would, but if we triple
Yeah, we-
the scores, the show will be over.
This floor looks like a nuclear weapon device of some sort. There's wires everywhere, flashing lights.
It took a while to set up.
I
not
feel
gonna
like
lie.
I feel like we were at WKRP in Cincinnati or something.
I wish.
Yeah, where's Drew Carey?
Oh, I want to give a shout out. Feather and Wedge. Right now, if you're listening to the live stream, you can go there, and they have an awesome Sunday brunch, jazz brunch. So we went there. Kate and I went Friday night. Tremendous meal once again. Crushed it. Love that
Are they
place.
running any gift certificate specials?
No, not that I know of, but
Next year we got to do a rundown
they're
of all the
listening, they
gift
might start.
certificate specials.
Can I
In
can
the
I
air.
show the pictures of what my son made this morning?
Eggs Benedict.
Of
It looks like
course.
from here.
Why didn't you bring some of that in?
Prosciutto eggs Benedict.
Prosciutto
this looks
eggs
ridiculous.
Benedict. That looks fantastic.
I'll go on this one right here. Everybody can see.
Oh, Kim, look at all that earwax. Oh, Kim.
It was amazing. It was so perfect.
So gross.
There you go, Kim.
Yeah, thank you. It's the benefit of having a son.
No
who's
pun
a chef
intended.
turned tree guy.
Yeah.
It's
Now
benefit.
cooking for
Get that?
fun in the house.
Well, I took
in the
advantage of
wrong
the
business.
men's night at Drift.
What?
Men's night at
Oh.
Drift. They had a gift card deal. 25 get you was it the $10 or $15 card.
Oh,
It
great.
was ridiculous. And then Maplewood
Was that backwards 25? Was it $10 or $15?
an extra one. Yeah,
They make a great limoncello martini.
great there. They
Every
did.
drink.
The
Yeah.
pumpkin martini. I don't know if they still have it now that
Did-
we've gotten out of the fall. So good.
Pumpkin.
I think we should go right after this and have a martini, Christmas martini.
You know what I've always wanted
At
to
the
try
nest.
is an espresso martini, but I don't want to have espresso before bed.
I had one of those the other night at
Decaf. I've had
Chris-
a
at
decaf
Lauren's house.
espresso martini.
It would still keep me awake. I swear
Really?
to God. Yeah.
It's in your head. You gotta
No.
take some THC.
Yeah, I do.
I went.
I have to figure out
never
what
mind.
you're supposed to take for sleeping, but
Hold on, breaking news. I found something on the soundboard I think Kim will like.
Chris for $1,000. I mean, Kim for $1,000. What bird is
bird?
that?
how the listeners doing, Jimmy?
They all tuned out.
Any comments, Jimmy?
Well, it's just people are saying hello. We do have, let's see, we go through Pam Morelli. I hope I'm saying right. Merry Christmas, Joe and the gang. Stay warm. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
thank you.
People are commenting about at times they can't hear certain people, but I know exactly what's going on. We're laughing and we're looking at each other and turning and looking, and then all of a sudden they come back and say, "Okay, now we hear 'em."
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope Steve Reed is watching from Budapest.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if he's in Budapest or Vienna right now, but
He's usually the first.
Well, what's the hours over there?
well, it's ahead. They're ahead, so it's probably like 1 o'clock or something like that.
All right. So
Like working? 'Cause I'm sure you're.
Oh yeah.
Let me look.
we went to. I took the girls to the Celtics game Saturday night. Oh, geez, I don't know. One of these nights. But the move was I just want to point out a couple things. That taking the train to North Station is such a no-brainer.
I love it taking the train. Where did you park?
We parked at Beverly. We went to Beverly because I picked them up in Hamilton. We drove right to the Beverly station because they have a ton of trains that come out. But it was we got in. I'd never been in one of the double decker
Trains?
trains.
Yeah.
Super clean, and we had a table in between us. We just kicked back. Took no time at all.
Should have brought a sandwich.
Yeah, I could have.
Yeah.
But we had so, but we got right in there, and walked right out of North Station and went to Tasty Burger, which is inexpensive.
Yep.
So if you're going with a family or something, Tasty Burger is right there, and it has the train schedules on the wall
Right.
with updated times, so you know when you can just hang out there and wait for your train rather than wait in the middle of North Station. So, but here's the other thing so for people that know or don't know, the parking situation in Beverly, they put a brand new parking garage there, but after 4, you can park on the street in front of the North Station. I mean, I was not North Station.
No, not
Beverly.
North Station.
Beverly Station. There's parking. I thought, so it's after 4 because I went straight to the parking garage, and I could have saved myself, maybe a couple hundred yards of walking in the cold.
How much was the parking
$2
in that garage?
in that garage.
That's
Yeah,
bargain.
yeah. After a certain time at night, it was $2. It was well lit. It was steps to the train. So here's something else you need to know.
What?
Eloise
Do tell.
Eloise was wearing her Vans backpack, which really is no bigger than a purse.
Yeah.
And so we went to get in, and they're like, "You can't bring in a backpack." She's like,
Oh no.
"What's the difference between this and a purse?"
Yeah, and I brought a briefcase in before.
Really?
Yeah, because I was
From
in
work.
Business. Yeah, they were in business.
They got backpack is like gets flagged like it. So I kind of panicked a little bit. I'm like, where am I going to put this? And they says, you can leave them at Sullivan's, a place called Sullivan's, and I'm like, Sullivan's? It was Sully's Tap. So they have a little side business going there with the head
lockers or something.
not even a locker, like the head bouncer. They give you a ticket like you know how the peel off tickets, the
Yeah.
stubs.
Yeah.
He writes the number on it. He gives you the thing there, and you give him $10. So the guy put $10 in his pocket,
And
There
then he
was-
goes through the purse or the
No,
backpack.
she said everything was there, but there was probably 30 bags there. So the guy made himself $300.
Good for him.
You were right at the gate.
I was right at the
and then you
gate.
had to-
I was right at the gate. I was honestly, I mean, listen, everything's a learning experience. So I know now. Next time, I thought it was strange.
Note to self.
Is, you can bring a backpack or bag into Fenway, but you can't into the garden. And we did the same thing. One of the kids was skating last year, so I had my camera gear to take pictures of the kids on the ice playing a little game in between periods or whatever. And I got there, and they're like, "You can't bring that in." I'm like, "But it's my camera." And they said it's in a backpack. You can't do it. And then they ended up letting me because we had whatever. But
Oh.
you can to Fenway, so it's funny how.
So I looked sketchy, and you didn't look sketchy. They let you.
And Eloise looks sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little elevator.
You know, you bring up a good point. That's what it came down to. Is you look sketchy.
The sketchy factor.
Very well, may.
So those protests that were going on the last couple of years, I would just take the park at Wonderland and take the blue line down to Government Center, and it was so easy because it just let you off right at Government Center.
Joe, did somebody steal the forklift?
All right, Joe. Nice seeing you.
Uh,
Have a good day.
Joe should probably put LoJack on his forklift.
All right. This is where the show gets good.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's
Joe,
talk.
What should we talk about?
Let's
Joe?
talk.
We should talk about what everybody wants for Christmas. What do you think?
This is a children's show.
And what do you think is what's a good gift? A suggestion that someone might not think about.
Joe is suggesting we should all talk about a gift that
Well, I
we
know
really want.
I know what I want, and I'm getting it. Is a Troy.
Wow.
And damn it, I'm getting it.
And it's funny. Kim's mic cut out as soon as she said, "I know what I want," and I'm getting it. And then all of a sudden you heard static from there.
See it in my husband's office.
So was it one of those where you bought it, gave it to him, and said,
No.
"Here's what you're
No,
giving
but I
to me
made
for
moved
Christmas"?
her hands.
I said, She put took out an ad on a billboard on Route 128. Buy me this, dummy.
Exactly.
If you're looking at this, then you know this is what I would need.
Chris, what do you want for Christmas?
How about Jimmy? We need Jimmy.
Oh, wait, Jimmy, what do you want for
You know,
Christmas?
it's funny in heck, guys.
Jimmy wants a new stove and a refrigerator
You got that.
No, I just want someone to come in
and a plumber.
stove in and give Pat a break. You know, I've always been, I don't really care. I don't make a list. Even when I was a kid, you know, Mom would go around and she would say, we used to have a time when we all made our list and then we turned it in. And it was a big thing for the kids that we all
Yeah.
made a list because she
You have
said
a lot
she
of
was,
siblings.
oh yeah, and she said, I'm going to go see Santa Claus, so I need your list.
That's great.
So we all had to sit there and write it, and I always turned in a blank sheet, and because I always felt whatever they gave me was good enough, and you know, so I just never did, and to this day it's still like that. My wife will go to the kids and say, "What would you like? Tell me what you want." The kids will do it, and I don't do that. I just go out and grab it. I know they all re-gifted or send it back when I give it to them, but that's okay. That's what it is. So honestly, I really don't have anything that I.
Wow, Jim, you just took up
I was
2
gonna
minutes
say,
of airtime and told us nothing.
A long answer to a very short
It's the
question.
story of my life. It's the Italian creed. You know, my hands are moving the whole time too, but I'm not on camera.
Yeah.
So.
No, my kids, they send me a list with an emailed list with links, everything. It's so easy. It makes
Jeez.
it so easy.
With links.
Wow.
With links and
That's
everything.
interesting.
Well, it's
Yeah,
hard.
no, that's
like
a good one.
buying piles of presents and having to go to stores and look for them, but then my husband will say, "Oh, I need a new shirt," and I'm like, "What do you? What kind
A new
of
shirt, yeah.
I need a new
What
this."
size?
So, Chris, Mr. Grinch,
Oh,
tell us what you
all
want
I
for Christmas.
Is fruitcake.
A fruitcake.
Yeah, good fruitcake.
Do you really eat fruitcake?
I do. This time of the year, if anybody has fruitcake,
My mom's
I
fruitcake was delicious.
dig in.
I really miss it.
Isn't fruitcake one of those things that just they make
Does it really
200
taste-
years ago and nobody ever cuts into it?
That's what makes it good, like
Alright.
cheese.
What do you want for Christmas?
No, I just want love, happiness,
All right.
health, and a new pot pipe.
the same old, as everybody else.
Right. I mean,
Really, don't we all just want happiness and a new pot pipe?
So, Joe, we haven't got down this end of the
what do we
room
want
for Christmas.
You may be surprised that we.
want for Christmas?
Go ahead, Nicole.
Nicole, what do you
if
want?
anyone
Send
is
new lobster
listening
traps.
who might have a business in Gloucester, all I really want is my car detailed.
That's a great. You know what?
Who's out there?
My wife
No, just
asked.
kidding.
My wife
Really, I
asked for
want my
that
car detailed.
before. That's a great gift, actually.
Yeah, no, we're in our car all the time, and my car is disgusting, and I would just like it to be
Maplewood.
clean.
There's a SRM. If you want a high end one, you go SRM. Maplewood Car Wash. Actually, what I got was a packet of 5 during that
Coupon.
coupon thing.
Women's and men's night.
Yeah, I got a packet of 5. They call them. I don't want to say it the wrong way, but it's not quite detailing, but they wash your car. They go in, vacuum the inside, wash all the windows, and do like an airbrush. But it's
It's called an in and out.
is that what it's called?
I think it's an in and out.
We're
No,
still
no.
talking about car detail.
But it's
right?
normally so. I paid
We haven't gotten into what I
We
want.
at
haven't gotten to your
Maplewood.
list yet.
Yeah. So those they cost $75. It costs $75, $15 per, and you basically get 2 free if you buy the
I need
whole
some
thing.
serious vacuuming and cleaning of the inside,
Me too.
and I would just
A jackhammer?
it would make me
Using a
feel.
jackhammer?
All
Yeah,
kidding aside,
anything.
the last time somebody got my car detailed, I got a phone call from the company, and I honestly don't remember the name, but they're in Gloucester, and they called and they said, we're sorry, we're going to give you some of your money back. We just can't get the car clean.
Honestly, is that a true story?
Yeah, it's a true story. So I mean,
Would you leave a body in
that
the
was a,
car?
a
Let's
car
stay.
That's what's
from
gonna
a couple
happen to
years
me
ago,
because
but it was pretty bad. The kids, the chicken bone.
You're gonna get
incident
closer to
of-
the microphone.
because I'm transporting plants all the time, like it just looks horrible from April to December. So I don't know if they could get all the pine needles
Ralph, what would you like other than a fruitcake?
To lose 20 pounds.
You were on a diet last year.
I was, and I need to go on a diet this year.
This time,
I'm going on vacation in February. I'm afraid that people are gonna be pulling me back in the water and say he's dying. Quick, get him back in the water, because I look like a beach whale.
Well,
if they cut open.
But
your
my wife
belly-
still loves me,
uh,
and there's more of me to love now.
If they cut open your belly, what would they find?
Plastic,
Plastic straws.
plastic,
a lot of
plastic
plastic.
bottles,
Probably
plastic.
a lot of pasta.
Oh yeah,
Maybe a quarter of a donut.
I know. Half of a half, maybe.
Half of a half of a peppermint chocolate donut.
No,
Joe,
there isn't anything I need.
what would you like for Christmas?
I have everything that I want.
Other than great friends,
Um,
I guess.
The heated vest.
Well, you already ordered that.
The heated vest.
What is that?
You didn't see?
You hit the button and the vest heats
Oh,
up.
the heated vest.
Yeah.
I did see that. I thought you said the heated rest.
Game changer. Game changer.
You know what you need, Joe?
What do I need?
You need lights in your driveway. That's what you need.
Yes.
Lights
I
in
had
your.
trouble backing
I almost
out
killed
the other
myself
night.
last night
Yes.
leaving this house.
My father-in-law almost killed himself, Joe.
It's pitch black. He doesn't shovel his stairs, so the stairs are a sheet of ice.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're gonna get you a driveway warmer and some lights.
Yeah.
I carried a
Actually,
box.
we could buy a bunch of heated vests and just lie them down to melt the ice.
Yes.
Because
That's not a bad idea.
because
The moon doesn't always light up your driveway, Joe.
No, I think what we'll do is we'll hire some of those crows to just stand in the driveway with some lights on it or something on the crows.
actually,
Crows to use here.
who do you have for homeowners insurance? Because I'm gonna need to know that information.
Yeah, and you gotta move the boulders to the right-hand side of your driveway.
The
because
boulders are what keeps you in line.
No, they,
It's a hazard.
I had
I
a lot
much
of trouble
prefer-
backing out the other night.
yeah, I much prefer to drive over your lawn than hit a rock.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what we
I
can
just
do.
want lights. Let's start with lights this year, and then next year we'll work into buying you a snow shovel.
All that solar you have going on, you can't get some solar lights in the driveway?
No.
Wow, I'm getting beat up over
I
it.
carried a big box.
Well, you
up the
deserve
stairs
it,
the other
Joe.
night.
After
Wiped
that,
out coming in the
after
door.
that, posting that picture of the
But
beached
I
whale
would
lying on
say
your
that
floor
Joe
last night.
is one of the best hosts in all of East Gloucester. So, Joe, for all the hosting you've
Thank
done
you.
this year, I'm serious.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
you did
And
you
and
do
Kate
great.
Go above and beyond to make us feel comfortable. I mean, I've never fallen asleep in anybody else's house. I mean, that's how comfortable.
That's right. That's a good point, Chris. That's actually I haven't either. You really made me feel comfortable.
And I was
With
so
the blanket was nice. That was a nice touch.
I was so comfortable yesterday too. I took a poop in your toilet. It was the first time I ever pooped in your toilet, upstairs toilet.
Oh my God, this is going right off the rails.
Potpourri.
the
I used the
rails.
potpourri though.
A poop purry.
Kate, is Kate listening?
Kate says that. Yeah.
I cleaned the bowl after.
Kate just said that's what she said. She said, "Who pooped in my toilet?"
And one person came to mind. Okay, how about those Patriots?
No, we're gonna talk about Kim. There's a media shower tonight.
What?
There's and you'll probably be able to see it if it's clear because the crescent moon isn't coming up until very, very, very early this morning. I think you'll be able to see it best around 4:30, 4:40. I think it was
In
4:40
in the afternoon.
in the afternoon because it gets dark so early.
Joe, you'll still be up.
So then, if you go and find a place, removed from city lights, and the place to see things, even though it can be still a little bit bright, is if you stand like in the middle of Good Harbor Beach. I mean, you can always go to Halibut Point.
Actually, right in front of my house, the back shore there's no lights anywhere.
Anywhere.
There's no lights.
Yes. So try it from there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
It's supposed
What's
to
the
be
address,
at
Ralph?
4:40.
Look, don't say it because
30
Kim is very protective. She doesn't want anyone, not you, his Kim. Doesn't want anyone to know.
37 Broadway, Wichita, Kansas.
There you go. So there's that. I read this article that was interesting to me. The human toll of the 2019 media apocalypse. More than 3,000 journalists lost their jobs this year. Being a journalist in 2019 meant working under the gun. In January, over 1,000 journalists lost their jobs as layoffs hit Gannett, BuzzFeed, AOL, and Huffington Post. Vice laid off 250 employees in February. New York media laid off 32 media much. Anyway,
That's great. That's sad. That's
So,
great.
a ton of traditional media.
You didn't mention the
I guess
post
we're
Not
of the New
getting our
York
not
Christmas
Times.
this
present.
podcast.
So that's
Well, I didn't get to it because they weren't going to let me get to it. But so, but this is not anything that we
haven't predicted.
they haven't seen. I mean, like you see the Gloucester Times, like which there's a certain amount of people that had used to work there. Now it's like a skeleton crew doing all the work. But the scary, so here's the scary part about it, right? The scary part is people are kind of tuning out from, like, journalism is supposed to be fair and unbalanced and balanced, fair and balanced.
Fair and unbalanced.
Yeah, fair and unbalanced. Well, it's pretty unbalanced right now.
It's definitely unbalanced.
Yeah. No, but when you have like there used to be that, like, newspapers like the Times and the Globe and stuff like that. You could more or less rely on
Reliably good.
reliably. You know, they're not they had the writers had a standard that they tried to keep themselves to, and would really get called out if they talked bullshit or didn't have factual stuff, or lose their jobs. And nowadays, what we rush toward as far as consuming are such short-sighted, quick opinion pieces from like people like us, like blogs, right? Like, you know, like but like on a bigger scale. Um, that's it's kind of scary because when all these journalists that the companies that they worked for made enough money to keep them paid well, when they go away, what's left in its wake? It's all it is.
But
You know-
who created that? They did.
I just think I think it's easy. I think like I think what we do, like providing happy stories and beautiful pictures, and not really getting down into the muck of like having to go into the politics
In the
and
weeds.
call out politicians that you think are doing crappy jobs or something. Like, if you don't have those people, then it's kind of scary because we don't I don't like it. I don't watch Fox or CNBC or any of those things.
CNN.
CNN. You know, I occupy my time, for better or worse, with, like, you know, sports. I mean, and you know, we scroll through Facebook, we scroll through Instagram, and that's how we kind of
Well,
kind of.
you know, both my husband and I listen to BBC, NPR, because I'm in my car a lot, and CNN, and I read the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. I mean, I don't read them cover to cover, but I think it's important to get your information from a wide range of sources, and I think that's just so on the wane right now.
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
everybody's so oriented to one channel that has one political viewpoint.
Or none of it. Either one or the other. Either one of the polarized, like, views.
Yeah, you're
you
either
know.
CNN or Fox.
Yeah, or you're neither, and then you just like mindless stuff. Like I don't go to either, and like I'm not proud of that. But like if I have little downtime, I'm either watching sports or I'm scrolling through and checking
A smoke and a ham.
a smoke and a ham.
Hey,
There you go.
Joey, we have Joe Higgins. He just said, "Hey, Joey, hello from Hawaii. It's 5 a.m. here. I woke up early just to hear this."
Wow.
Ask Joe how his health is. I thought he posted something about like I thought he had. There's going to be a 20-second delay. So
And
but
how
Joe,
is,
I hope you're feeling all right.
and how is the weather, Joe?
But we want to know how your health is, how the weather is,
He
and
must be on a business trip. I'm sure he's looking for some fish tails out there.
we'll find out.
Joe, bring back some good fish tails and fish.
Prince. Pete Frady's passed away, ALS, Ice Bucket Challenge. Don't know of a single individual that had a bigger impact on a disease than Pete Frady's individually.
Nicole, you wrote something really sweet. I noticed from your son started a little mini fundraiser. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he wanted to. It's a hard thing to it's a hard thing to do when you don't have any, connection or place with the family. It's funny. I made a phone call to a friend whose son has done
Nicole.
some of that before, but he wanted to, and so you want to foster that when the kids are excited to make a difference. But it's kind of a hard thing to do. But I told Joey, it's you hear different stories, and there's different horrific diseases and things, and it's different people will connect to different things for different reasons, and sometimes for no reason at all. So whether it's Alzheimer's or breast cancer or anything, but for some reason that story kind of hit me to the core, and it has since I first heard about it. I think maybe the mom of two young boys who are athletes, and you have these kind of hopes and dreams for what might happen. This is a real downer right now, right? But it's
She's
just
tearing up.
relatable. It's
She's tearing
relatable,
up.
and it's everyone's worst nightmare. Anything's everyone's worst nightmare when you're a parent, but to see him, and that's what my kids really were both. Actually, Finn was watching some news stories next to me on the computer, I think, and he said, "Please turn it off." There were pictures of Pete on the field when he hit that home run at Fenway Park, and with his friends and celebrating, and he asked me to turn it off because he was so touched by it. But Thatcher went to read everything he could and came in and watched the news, and he was really relatable. Thatcher wears number 3, just it kind of it shook me, shook everybody I think around here because he's from Beverly and whatnot. But as a parent, you have all these great plans, and to have that happen in such a evil and miserable way. But then to see all the good that came from that, I mean, it would have been really easy to hole up and not just Pete, but his wife Julie, amazing, his parents, his brother, his family, his friends, to take that and to turn it into $250 million and all the good that they did. It's just really amazing. Obviously,
And she's
she's gonna do the plunge.
Yeah, she's doing the plunge. Yeah, saw that on TV.
So when is the plunge? Is it the 28th? Or
New,
what day
New
is it?
Year's.
Oh, it's
New Year's morning, Good Harbor. I forget the time. I think it's right around the same time as the Rocky Neck plunge.
Oh, okay. So somebody
Two plunges.
somebody
going
could
on.
do
Somebody could
Yeah.
plunge twice.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Right?
I don't know. I
Actually, Charlene, Kim, and Kate, they're all listening now. So
Oh.
Joey's out of the room. Go for it.
Yeah.
Joey's
Oh. Kate, I don't know what you were thinking.
Kate, we know what Joe bought you for Christmas. You want to know? Charlene, you're getting nothing other than love and happiness and family.
I have a great picture of Kim and Charlene and myself from the Nantucket stroll. Yeah,
Maybe you should blow it up
we should make that the
for Christmas.
Good Morning Gloucester opening page.
Oh, good morning.
Hey,
All
Suzanne.
women are waking up at the same time.
Kim,
Huh.
your Kim is correct in saying Pete's plunge, December 28th. I believe it's his birthday.
Oh, the 28th. My
It is the
bad.
28th.
No, it corrected me. My apologies. I
Oh,
thought it
okay. Yeah,
thought
why
they
would
were
she
the same
correct
time.
Ralph?
was.
That's the reason.
Jim, I'm always wrong anyway. It doesn't make a difference. No.
So this is the best part of the podcast. Joe has left us. He has left us in charge.
To run amok.
Okay, what can we say about him?
Off the rails.
You know that Joe. He's a great
Yeah,
guy.
we love our tippy mics.
Yeah, these mics.
Yeah,
Joe,
let's
he
take
said-
all the mics at the same time and
That was just
Yeah.
disconnect them.
I
Let's
hope,
let's pull the plug.
I hope these mics can be returned within 30 days, Joe, because these things gotta go.
You gotta see this place.
I'm gonna bring my own duct tape.
There's more wires in this place. That's crazy. You can't even get up and move. I've had to pee for 15 minutes. I can't get up because I'm gonna trip down the stairs.
Where would you pee here anyway?
You have a point. There's no running water.
Yeah.
With my back straight up for
Yeah.
like
You bought,
I'm just gonna lean on mine.
So not only does he not shovel his stairs, okay, he doesn't have lights in his driveway.
right.
There's no toilet.
No toilet.
Toilet here to go pee. There's
Yeah,
no
there was
running.
no toilet paper in the bathroom yesterday when I had to poop. So.
There's a Captain Joe sweatshirt or something over there to use that.
What do you do in that case? Do you because you've already pooped, so
And
we're
we're
back.
back.
How many mics got knocked over?
We're talking about, Chris is talking about pooping and not having any toilet paper.
yesterday.
We are really at a loss when Joey leaves the room. Well, we never thought we would be, but it is a little bit
But
of now what?
Don't use that face cloth, Joe, when you go home.
should jump over and look at the list.
But I over someone's house and you poop, and there's like no toilet paper, and you can't find where they hide the spare toilet paper.
This should always be a spare roll. Like,
No,
Chris,
let's say
I have a serious question. What is your infatuation with pooping?
you're gonna have to repeat that, Ralph.
I almost fell back in my chair.
You know what? I was very constipated when I was a young boy, and I think it's now starting to come back, where poop is an important part of my life.
Yeah. And it doesn't make a difference what time of day or where it is.
Wait, are we gonna do what we want for Christmas? Because
No, we were talking about Joe.
Talking about Joe, all the good things.
He says it more than my 2-year-old child. And she's like into poo-poo songs and poo-poo heads.
Mommy, I pooped today.
You gotta show Kim the poop song you created for
no, don't play it. If we're gonna, it's gonna bounce us off of Facebook. Nicole, I thought this is an interesting story. So you know how you hear these stories about people paying it forward at Dunkin' Donuts when you're in line, pay for my coffee behind me,
Oh yeah, yeah.
pay for my coffee behind me. It has once, not that often, but once. Nicole, tell the story about what happened to you, and I want to hear what everyone would do in this situation.
I'll
Oh.
tell you what I did,
This
but
is-
and I'm not really proud of it, so this is a little bit embarrassing. But so I went to.
Make sure you speak into the mic.
I went. Hello. Can you hear me?
Is this thing on?
There you
Oh
go.
my
Check
God.
1, 2.
Now we have the
So
mic police.
I went to Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and it's funny. While I was ordering my coffee, which is like $2.47, I noticed a really nice Mercedes SUV in front of me, and I remember thinking, "Oh, it's a really nice car." And then I got up to the window, and the girl said, "You're all set." And I was like, "Excuse me." It took me a second. She said, "No, you're all set." I'm like, "Oh, did the person in front of me buy my coffee?" And she said, "They did." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really nice." And then there was this moment of like, so are you going to end the good cheer, or are you going to like cough it up? And pay? So I said, "All right, let me get the coffee for the person behind me instead." And I had a $5 bill in my hand. And she's like, "Oh, that's really great. Good." And they all kind of looked at each other. And she's like, "That'll be $12.60. And I was like, my $2.47 coffee just turned into almost $13.
Wow.
And I literally only had a $5 bill. I had my debit card and all that, but it was in my bag in the back.
Wait a
is
second
awesome.
now.
And
Wait a
so I
second.
had
Do you
this,
think
like,
that this is an
moment of-
inside job?
No.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Hear me out. Hear
Joe's
me
gonna
out.
go to the negative.
Oh yeah. You did-
Well,
Well,
I
she
guess
did.
so.
She just told you.
Yeah,
Go.
well, so what I did was I felt horrible, but I said, this is all I have. So I gave her the $5 and said, "Can you put the $5 towards their $12.60 bill?" And she said, "Sure, we can do that," but wasn't necessarily in love with the fact that I didn't just pay for the whole $12.60.
I think it was an inside job.
which I would have done.
I
but
totally think that that group of people
Well, you
behind
better get
her
on the same page then, because your
was-
wife says that your household is half empty or half full. What is it, Joe?
I think that the people, that the person that took the order knew the people behind you and were trying to shame you into
Yeah.
buying their
Oh,
$12.
another conspiracy at Dunkin' Donuts. The Dunkin' DD conspiracies.
I'm
So I
telling you.
didn't want to be
sounds
the one
Ukraine-like, Joe.
to break the chain if it had been.
I
going
know my
on.
wife has done that before. She's
Yeah.
bought for people and behind. It's
I've
a
done it
nice
when it's been,
gesture.
Like a police officer, I've said, "Oh, with the kids in the car," to be like, "Oh, can you get it for the officer behind us?" But I was under the impression, maybe falsely so, that it had gone on for 3 or 4 or 5 cars, and I didn't want to be the one to ruin the karma, but I also didn't want to get out, go into my bag, get my debit card, and so I just gave the $5. So yeah, I am interested in what you would have done.
Well, if you only had
think-
$5, you only had $5. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think I would have. I would have had a hard time swallowing the $12 thing. I would have given the $5. I think you did the right thing.
this is.
But
this,
you didn't have an option because you didn't have. All you had
well,
was
I
a
did. I
$5.
had my bag, but it was in the back seat. And,
Yeah.
This is an issue that I have with my children as well as my wife. They don't leave the house with money. I said, how do you leave the house without any money? At least have an emergency 20 somewhere tucked in your wallet or something. Everything is swiped.
They got Ralphie baby.
Yeah, but I'm not with them most of the time. You should always have money on you. I don't like the fact that people are giving up cash and they're just using plastic. What happens if the computers go down? What are you going to do?
I'm embarrassed to say I don't pay it forward. I pay it backward. When I'm in line and I'm getting ready to pay, I said, the person behind me is going to pay.
That's a good technique, Chris.
Keep that beard on. That beard.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Why should I pay it forward? Someone behind me should pay.
This is called Pay It Backwards Day
I
with
know-
Chris McCarthy.
I know somebody
Anybody want to
who-
follow me around Gloucester?
I know somebody who showed a 2-year-old the Grinch movie. So, what do you guys think about that? I mean, it's rated PG for violence and
Oh, we're not going down that road, Kim.
Would you
Which
show?
one?
Would you?
The cartoon one or the Jim Carrey one?
I don't know.
Let's go to the comments about cash.
Yeah, hang on. I want to get back to that, but it is going fast and furious here. So, basically, Joey Foot says, "Hey, I bought coffee for the car behind me this morning," and your Kim says, "Cash, not money." Charlene, I use the app.
Sorry, Kim.
Oh yeah, the app's a good
Katrina,
thing. Yeah.
well, thank you for Katrina. You've been writing a few times. I've been trying to answer you. Nicole, same thing happened to me at Dunks.
Really?
And then my Patty Ann, GMG, she said, right, there is a difference.
There is. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
See-
There's got to be rules.
See,
You
the
gotta make
person
up
in
rules for
the person in front of Pat at Lowe's paid for her stove, but not the plumber to install it.
the plug.
Also, like the cashier should say, oh, gee, are you going to pay it forward because the person behind you is $12.60.
Yeah, the person behind you ordered $300 worth of coffee and bagels and donuts.
Yeah.
As much as yours.
Yeah, there's gotta be
as much
rules.
as yours.
Yeah, you see, I pulled up before, paid for mine, then I saying, how much is the bill behind me?
Oh, okay.
I've done that.
See,
That's-
that's
yeah.
And,
You gotta
and they
ask.
said it's this, and I said, okay, well, add that, or here's that, and I said, it's on me, and then I pull away, and then I go away slowly to look to make sure that they said something.
Yeah.
Because I'm always worried some of these kids sometimes, they still charge it, maybe took what I
Oh, the
paid,
tip.
put it in.
Oh,
So,
that's a
I
conspiracy
look to
theory, too.
see if they say something, and then you can always tell because the people now look straight ahead at you, and they'll give you the thumbs up, or they'll do something that way.
I have an idea. How about we start a little trend like, no, Chris, I'm not being fresh. Why don't we start a little trend, something like buy a first responder a coffee. So you go into the Dunkin' Donuts or any of the drive-thrus and you say, hey, look, here's $5. Say the next police officer, a firefighter, or first responder, whatever comes in, I want to buy them a cup of coffee. Then you're not worried about the car behind you, how much they spent.
Then they're going to put it in a
Yeah.
tip jar.
Well, you know what? You have to hope and think that they're going to do the right thing.
No, I think that's a really good idea.
Hey, Ralph, my Pat writes, yes, Ralph, pay it backwards at Lowe's.
Pay it back at Lowe's, right?
And
See?
Joe writes,
Joe, did you hear my idea?
Yeah, just now?
Fixes new
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah, I like that idea.
We're going to start the Good Morning Gloucester,
She must have
buy a first responder a cup of coffee trend.
I love it. I love that
I
idea.
like that idea a lot.
Tremendous.
James Eves has just joined us.
Hey James, how do you know you're gonna get it? It's gonna go to the first responder. Though?
We don't know, but you have to hope
Have to have
that
good faith.
people, good faith, that people are going to do the right thing.
Oh, okay.
Joe, you missed my idea, though. Pay it backward. When I get to the cash register, the person behind me's paying. That's the way you leave.
That's the Chris McCarthy spin.
I think that's brilliant.
I know.
That's
Chris, actually, you should say the person behind me is paying for my toilet paper.
Oh my God. You're
Actually,
crazy.
back to that. I mean, where do people? I'm just curious.
We're
Let's
back
look
to
around the room.
pooping.
Where
What did I do?
Where do people put the spare roll of toilet paper?
Well, sometimes there's these long round containers with the rolls. Just
Yeah,
flip. You take
we
the
have
lid
those.
off. Okay, so
we make it clear to our guests that if their toilet paper runs out, here's the extra.
Oh,
I
so
tell
you,
all-
wait, is this all because we run
was
out
there no-
last night, yesterday at my house?
Yeah. So I had to.
It's embarrassing when you have to ask someone where do you get the
So
toilet paper.
Do I come out and say, excuse me, but
Do you crack the door and say?
I already cracked.
You have
so I
no
got
shame.
my hands up.
He's acting like he's
I know, I know.
nothing.
He's not
Nothing
embarrassed.
embarrasses him.
you know what?
I think you're speaking for other people that may be.
I have a sign in my bathroom that says, "If you run out of toilet paper, Chris McCarthy has a pallet at his house."
With Chris's
I didn't
phone
tell you
number?
the story what happened to me the other day.
No, you did not.
Oh, I don't know if this is borderline.
Did you poop?
Is this going to get us thrown off Facebook?
Oh.
No.
What, out here?
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh,
I gotta tell a
jeez.
story.
No.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know if you
All right,
should.
I'll tell you a story. It is a poop story, but so,
We don't
no.
need to talk about poop. We were just talking about.
I had,
nice
all I'm gonna
gestures.
say is this. All I'm gonna say, I had an emergency, and I had bought a boat. A lot of boats were offloading, so I was squeezing my butt cheeks together so that I wouldn't poop. So like for like 20 minutes, like boats just kept coming in, so I couldn't go to do what I had to do. So I finally, the last boat take care of. I race to the porta potty. I do my thing, and it's like a scene out of Dumb and Dumber where the guy's toes are curling because and I get done with my business, and I go, and there's usually 3 rolls of toilet paper in the porta potty. There was someone cleaned out all the toilet paper,
Chris McCarthy took them home.
all gone.
It was a great
I was
idea.
absolutely horrified. Thankfully, in my jacket pocket, I had.
I can't believe
I
we're
had
having this conversation. But Joe, I want to.
I was lucky.
Oh, it's Janie. Charlene has put so many emojis up that it is unbelievable. I can't comment on the emojis, but I can imitate them. Most of them
Are they green?
are basically hitting the head.
Yeah.
That's Charlene.
There's a couple of people who are doing the puke one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I envisioned.
Sorry,
And of
folks.
course, we're getting our fair share of the brown little piles.
Poop
emoji.
all you
emojis.
listeners
Those
out
are
there,
poop emojis.
for the record, Ralph DeGiorgio had no participating interest in this story.
Bowel movements today.
I was talking about a nice gesture for our first responders
I don't
buying,
know how we-
and now Joe and Chris take it to like the bowels, no pun intended,
Give them
They're the bowels of the
first
podcast.
of the podcast.
Patrick T. McNally says we need to start buy a live streamer a coffee fund.
Hey, buy a live streamer a coffee.
Oh, there you go.
Who said that?
Patrick
That was
McNally.
Patrick McNally.
Is this Patrick on the board? The Patrick on the board who the pedal board out in the harbor?
Oh, ask
Is he
him.
answering?
Is that his name?
T, that's all I have here.
I'd like to try that.
Patrick McNally. I like the way he's thinking.
Kim, since we're on the poop topic, I'm just curious.
Oh,
do
jeez.
do birds fart?
No, but
Stop.
If a
No,
bird
I'm
farts in the
serious.
woods,
I mean-
does anybody hear it?
I don't know if they fart. I mean, I would imagine that they do.
You think they could guess?
They
It's an
have,
interesting question.
To who, Chris? To who?
most of them have one hole where just everything.
Oh, pee and poop?
Well,
Just,
I have a video of my pet parakeet.
Hold it. This is breaking news. Birds have one hole for pee and poop.
Yeah, just right.
Why? Do
That's
we have
gross.
two? That's interesting.
Is it anywhere near where the cloaca is?
Yes, it is.
In
Right
Croatia?
So
there.
it's 3 and 1. Jesus, what a package
We have
deal.
breaking news. Oh my God.
All those media studies that Joey was just talking about, I have a feeling that we might be next.
No, we're going nowhere but up.
We're going up.
So I had a
Let's
The top.
let's
I
go
ever tell
back
you-
to all our stories.
When I finally arrived.
I had an issue with a person 3 years ago. You know, every once in a while we get in a dust up, and this person called for everyone to unsubscribe from Good Morning Gloucester.
Oh boy.
And since that person said that, our numbers have increased 150%. Yeah.
You know what would be fun in the new
Makes me
year
happy.
is to go over the controversies of Good Morning Gloucester. I can think of like 5
Oh,
off the top of my
God.
head. We should revisit those.
There's
for the
so
New Year's
few
podcast.
now. There's so few compared to where we were.
I wanted to share with Chris how butterflies have sex.
Whoa! Breaking news. Hang on. Yes.
I thought it
Hello.
was really interesting.
Hello.
I want to know how butterflies have sex and poop.
Well, I don't think that they go poop. I have
No?
The caterpillars do. Caterpillars do, but I don't think butterflies do. But
Can you look that up for next
They
week?
don't live long enough, do they?
butterflies.
Is that part of it?
No, some butterflies live for a month. Some live for 2 weeks. Some for a month. Some for monarchs live for 7 to 8 months. So,
Oh yeah, that's right.
so when they nectar, when they drink nectar and they build up their fat reserves, I think that they just lose their lose their, they excrete by just losing weight and getting smaller. So,
That's
but
interesting.
butterflies, the male and the female will meet, and this is with monarchs especially. And if the male has two pockets of pheromones, one on each hind wing, and each pocket is filled with what scientists call love dust, and the male will sprinkle the love dust on the female. And if she's receptive, they'll join together abdomen to abdomen. And with monarchs, they stay coupled together for about 4 hours.
What?
And
Wow.
Chris is
Putting
Chris
love
is
dust on
Chris
his
is buying
Christmas
wings today.
I thought 30 seconds was long.
All I want for Christmas
Love
is
dust.
some love.
some butterfly love. And during that time,
God.
the male passes the spermatophore to the female.
I think I want to
The
talk about poop
spermatophore is
again.
packaged with, sperm and nutrients needed to
This is complex.
manufacture the egg. So anyway, so I thought you'd be interested in that,
It is very interesting.
especially the 4-hour part.
I want to see Chris flap his wings.
No, I'm telling you, I think the listeners want to hear that kind of stuff. That is one of the most interesting things I've
Very
heard
compelling, Kim.
about an animal species.
Very compelling.
And that they have no poop hole. I mean, poop.
Well,
Joey,
caterpillars will poop.
Oh, I know. It's all over my car.
We got something from the listeners?
Yes,
they
all just committed suicide.
No, I was just trying to say that I thought it was great that people wrote in on, what you like about the blog and all that stuff. And
Oh, we never really
never
we
talked
never
about that.
got to the survey
I was
results.
hearing all this and I thought,
Let's
Thank
go
you.
down the survey.
All right, we'll go down.
results.
We're gonna
Pull
we're
up
gonna-
the survey results.
Thank the two people.
Let's compare birds mating and Chris pooping.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
What
you
would you
like-
rather hear? Chris pooping or birds mating?
again,
Or butterflies
Or
spreading
none of the
butterfly
above.
dust.
No, love dust.
Love dust.
Love dust.
again, guys, I
It's a
can't really
pher-
read the
it's a
comments,
pheromone.
but the emojis that are coming from people.
All right, and do we need a drum roll for the test results?
Well, no, we don't. I don't.
Test results.
So
Positive.
we got
Results are positive.
overall. These are the questions, and I'll
Okay.
overall. How would you rate the podcast? We got 33% excellent, 24% very good, 30% good, 9% fair, and 3% poor. So I want to mention something else.
Yeah.
You can break down answers by respondent. So there's obviously there was one person that said poor. Like you could if you look at all the answers, there's obviously someone that hates me.
Just give me their
Right,
address.
you know what I mean? No, because they're gonna mark you as 0 no matter what it is. There's obviously some people on the other end that no matter if the video quality was terrible, they're still gonna rate it 5 because they love us. You know what I mean? So
If
it's
they
just,
don't like the show, why are they watching?
well, there's some. That's a good question. That's a good question.
It's like
Took
an
the time
accident.
to respond to your survey.
Mr. or Miss
That they're
3%.
listening.
Don't listen anymore.
There's
Or you know what, Joe? I think we should invite that.
Have them on
person.
as have them on as a guest. Going through puberty, Chris.
what was that, bro?
Your scalp is tickling your
Peter
cloaca.
Brady. could
Let's
you,
have
Don't
them
do
on.
that again.
Let's have them on as a guest.
I think he licked the microphone inside of shoulder.
Joe.
Peter Brady just walked into the room.
Peter Brady.
Let's invite.
Let's invite Mr. or Mrs. 3% on the show.
The 6% people who
Let's
said
see how
it was
much the
fair.
ratings go up.
I can't stand this person. I really can't.
Oh, you
stand
know
this.
who it is?
I know. Wow. I don't
Or do
know.
you
I don't know
surmise?
from the I don't know from the survey who it is, but there are a lot of comments that come in that I know exactly who.
Let's
who,
extend an invitation to Mr. 3%.
We'd like to have an open discussion. We're fair and balanced.
I will be more than happy to
can't
have a
stand this
discussion with.
woman. I can't stand
Oh,
this
it's a
woman.
female.
It's a female.
Oh, then I can't have the open discussion in the parking lot with him.
Yeah, no. So okay, the second question was how do you consume?
Women the same way. All women want to be treated the same way now.
Here we go. So the second question was how do you consume the podcast, which was interesting to me.
1 hour, Joe. 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Okay. Interesting to me was audio stream, which is a traditional podcast, not the live stream, just what you're recording right now, Chris. Is it still blue?
No. You think I'm recording?
Okay.
Hence the 3%.
So that 37% of the people, that's how they consume it. 9% see it during the live stream, like what right now during the live stream. 28% watch it the live stream at some point during the week. You know that because it's recorded. A
And
6%
1% watch it on the toilet.
YouTube and 18.75% Facebook Live. Where do you okay? Who I'm going to give you the categories, and you tell me where do you listen to it most?
Toilet.
Car, work, or home? What does everybody think?
Massage parlor.
Home.
What do you say?
I would say it's Sunday morning, live at home.
You say what?
I say home.
Chris says.
Massage parlor.
No, it's
Jimmy?
probably home.
Robert Kraft.
Jimmy says home.
I just say car because that's where I always listen to.
I listen to podcasts in the car as well. Overwhelmingly, 61% home, 12% work, 12% car, and
Well, it's a Sunday morning. People are home having breakfast,
Yeah.
and they're listening to the show.
Pretty sure they all stopped eating breakfast when Chris started talking, or maybe when Joey.
Well,
started
look at it this
talking.
way: we could have our Good Morning Gloucester weight loss clinic because people get sick listening to us and they won't eat.
I like the way you're
Public
thinking.
It's just thinking out of the box, Joe.
Please rate the video quality of the live feed. Average rating 3.5. We get 14% say 1, 7% say 2, 17% say 3, 41% say 4, 20% say 5. 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 being the best. What segments would you like to be featured more frequently? I'm wondering if this is Kate that responded. Where is Kate? Oh, they want to see. Oh, Kate. How come Kate's not on? Kate's very a personal person.
Cake by the ocean.
Then
It's
another.
cake.
The
by
next
ocean.
person's.
And you don't know the meaning to that song, do you, Chris?
Anything involving dining and maybe some info about local bands. We have a lot of good music here on the island, and it seems like you feature most of the theater stuff, which is great, but not everyone is into that. We got one for Kim. Bird and nature theme,
See?
and where to go and what to eat.
Sex. Bird sex.
Local.
I heard that, kid.
Local history, local events and news from Cape Ann. I like it when you talk about food and restaurants. Remember when you did the best Italian subs, pizzas?
That was super fun.
Those are always fun. More wildlife, family stories, restaurants. And I like it when you have a question and you poll the guests for answers. It always starts good conversation and is usually funny too. I love all your friends joking. Okay, now to the what segments would you like featured less frequently?
Joe, it's an hour and 52 minutes.
The number one response, McCarthy.
What?
That was McCarthy. Someone wrote McCarthy. The same person that said, "Where is Kate?" wrote McCarthy. So that might be Steve Reed. Now,
Anna's
this
from
person
Budapest.
says, wonderful to hear about local theater, just not relevant for me personally. Too much talk about nothing at the start of the podcast. The banter just goes on for too long. No problems with the podcast. Keep up the good work. I have no issues with what has been featured in past casts. The segments are diverse and good and represent a good mix of the area happenings. I like them all. Doesn't like the rants, doesn't like the raunchy humor. I like all of it, even the bird talk, because you make fun of it, and I always learn something. So,
Never will.
yeah, so there's that.
You're all going to take away from it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Joe, we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
But we're almost done.
Here, where are your favorite guests? Who are your favorite
Who are
guests?
your favorite guest?
Mrs. GMG Caitlin. So this is the first response. So I'm guessing. I'm going back to Steve Reed. Loved Faye Passanisi. Anyone from Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce. Kim, the Dalpiaz duo. Chris and Ralph are great. You've got a solid crew. Love hearing from folks who are involved with GMGI, and would be great to hear more about environmental efforts here in town. Harbor cleanup. I love everyone. You all are favorites, especially Kim's wildlife reports. I hope that the new mics will help her soft voice. Bring back Paul Morrison. Also Nicole S., Sister Felicia, and Kim S. I don't know.
You know
Kim,
what I
Kim's
find
always been.
pretty funny? Is Joe's name wasn't mentioned once.
I know.
in there.
No one likes me. Everyone, my grandson Paul T. Russo and Ralph DeGiorgio. Gets a-
Ralphie.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to that.
Yeah.
To my.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to my wife.
yeah.
Who won want you out of the house longer. on Sunday
Exactly.
mornings.
Oh, why don't you go do a podcast for the next 2 weeks?
All right. Here's what are your favorite? What topics are your favorites?
Joe, we're at 3 hours and 5 minutes.
He's fucking killing me. He's killing me. This fucking cocksucker.
Joey, we do have a topic.
We've ran out of tape.
Know the update on the dredging.
Oh.
Yeah, let's go to
The
dredging.
dredging's happening. That's all we.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a 2-year process.
They found a
There's a-
dinosaur
We're gonna send Chris down.
Yeah.
with toilet paper.
So here's the number one topic that people like are the restaurant and food reviews, upcoming event news, event recaps around town, good deals around town, nature and wildlife updates, family stories, rants, product reviews, kudos to local initiatives, art openings, and other rounds it out.
Joe, it's
The
now
last
Christmas
question.
Eve. Joe, it's now Christmas Eve. I gotta go to my
The, la-
I gotta go to
Family.
church to 4 o'clock mass. Can I leave?
the last question.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
You know what he's gonna do? As soon as we're done here, he's gonna run for the hills and not help us break all this equipment down.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, geez, look at Joe. It's
It's a lot of equipment.
Ralph and I.
Joe. The marina just called. Our boats need to be put in the water before April 15th.
All right, this is it. The last one. Please leave any suggestions on what we can do better and what you'd like to see more of. Thank you so much for your feedback. You should have Kate in the cast again, Steve Reed.
Boy, Kate spends an awful lot of time writing in.
You know, it might be Kate. It's either Kate or Steve Reed. But she wouldn't refer to herself as.
Well, read the next line
She
where it
wouldn't
says,
refer to herself as Mrs. GMG or Kate. She would refer her to herself.
"Yeah, but read
as
the next
Caitlin.
line where it says, I think Kate is the best wife in the whole world." So,
Yeah. I listen as often as possible, but from Englewood, Florida. Love how you take me home with them. Thank you so much. You guys are so much fun. Things have improved from the audio side. Someone needs to give Joe a quieter keyboard or move the mic further away from his computer. That tippity tap shit during the podcast is pretty annoying. Maybe move the mic closer to Kim so we can hear her instead of yelling at her to speak up.
all right. So what I heard from all of this is that Joe makes a lot of noises during the podcast, but he is the one yelling at all of us
Yeah.
because if we make a noise.
I enjoy Jim G. Start every day with it. I love you all. How about an interview with a local lobsterman, fisherman, kind of a day in the life at work doing their job? That would be
Got
interesting.
one right here.
Chris is a local lobsterman.
Chris is-
Come on, man.
talk more about food, photography, and enjoy Joey's talk about gadgets. Update us on former personalities where they are now. That's something we should do. Well, there's people that come and go, you know.
We can talk photo tech. That would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, I love doing that too. I think GMG is spot on. You do a wonderful job. Doesn't need improvement. Make it available on iTunes more quickly. I love everything about the podcast. I've learned so much about this beautiful city. My mother and mother-in-law are both in different long-term care facilities, so I spend a great deal of time on the road. The podcast is a refreshing, informative, and comical diversion. Thank you for doing what you love. I'm not.
4th of July, everybody.
I'm not sure I would change very much. I like it as is. I'm disappointed if I missed the live feed. That has been the best improvement I have seen and listened to. Well, you don't miss the live feed because you can always post it up there.
Chris, I can't believe that Labor Day is already here.
I know, right?
Where did the summer go?
These fucking guys.
It's time to
They're,
take out my
they're,
winter
they're
clothes
killing
again.
me.
Joey,
They're all-
next show, maybe explain to people how they can, if they don't see the live, they can just
Right. If you don't see the live, you can go to the Facebook page.
Chris, did you get my
Oh, you know what that is?
invitation
Those
to
are
the
the
retirement
people.
party?
That would be one of the people that get the news feed. So they get the email blast at night, and once that's gone, they don't realize that they can always go to Good Morning Gloucester, the website, and see it. And I've explained it a million times, but they refuse to go.
6 days and 7 hours.
What's the no? What's the legit? What's the time?
1 hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, well, hour and 15 minutes. All right, that's good.
But 2052.
Did
Chris,
you want me to tell you about the eagle on? I don't know that.
Oh,
much
tell us about the eagle.
Well, I just got a call from David Calvo that right on East Main by his woodworking shop there was an eagle and the seagulls were going crazy. And I raced down to see if I could get it, but I didn't see it. But he saw it there for a little while. So everybody keep your eyes open because this is the time of year when we see more eagles and hawks but
They have the Eagles at the Eagles were up at the Eagles are up on 10 Pound Island, right?
Yes, and
I wonder if it's the same brood.
I don't know if it is or not.
Same
And
what?
it takes the eagles, and we had kind of an immature eagle here for a little while in Niles Pond last winter, and so I think that we might be seeing. They may still be around. We had a pair.
Yeah.
Last winter.
Kim, I have to say, you're doing a great job with the mic.
She's
Yeah,
you're a good job. I'm proud of you, Kim.
Moved an inch.
You haven't dropped it in
She's a
10
fucking
minutes.
she's a nervous wreck.
Owls.
Yeah, well, snowy owl update.
The snowy owls are
O-
around.
only
There's
at Cranes.
One seen at Plum, one at Plum Island, one at Cranes Beach, one at Salisbury Beach. But they're not just. I think this is one little theory that
Breaking news.
I think that they might kind of lie low when they first get here, and then because they're pretty tired and they're kind of establishing their territory. But then once they get more comfortable with their territory, we start seeing them more perching, and I think we will be seeing more. But I don't know if we're having an eruptive year like we had 2 years
Snowy
ago.
owls.
All right, there we go. Cue the music, Chris. Hey, thank you guys for listening, and GloucesterCast. Next week we'll have a podcast next week.
Okay, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Happy Hanukkah.
And pretty soon we're gonna be doing 2 a weeks. And I wanted to give a shout out to all the places that
I'm not doing 2 a week.
no, I want to give a shout out to places that asked us to do live podcasts. Beauport Hotel, Great Marsh Brewing, The Crow's Nest, 1623 Studios, Mom's Kitchen, and we're taking the show on the road this winter. So we're looking forward to that. Minglewood. So
Joe, thank you for these great.
there you go. All right.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I
Happy
gotta
New
tie
Year.
it up
Happy
right
Hanukkah.
there.
Happy